Chris Carter used to give me crap. I used to call receivers icing on the cake. You can have a cake without icing. The icing makes it better. Receivers are now absolutely part of the cake. Got to have a quarterback. You have to have a left tackle to protect him. You got to have a pass rusher. You got to have a star receiver. DK Metcalf is a star receiver. Last week, the Cowboys couldn't cover him. Like, I never thought that until about 7-8 years ago with the rule changes. You can't guard the best receivers. There's nothing you can do. And DK Metcalf, 5 years, a Pro Bowler, joining us live. There's DK. Good to see you again. Good to see you again. You looked all ready to go. So we talked about this, is that Seattle, you had won 6 of 8. And these are long seasons, DK. They last a long time and guys get hurt. And then all of a sudden you go to Baltimore. Okay, Baltimore beats a lot of people. That's okay. You came back, you kind of struggled, you beat Washington. There's something right now that's not quite right with the Seahawks, right? 3 straight losses. How does it feel to you? What's not quite right that was better 5 weeks ago?
I would say we just got to start playing more as a team and, as a collective team, putting forth the same effort and having the same goal in mind. I think right now, it's very sporadic. The offense is doing good sometimes. The defense is doing, great sometimes. Special teams has been the most consistent, I think, has been on the team. But, the offense and defense just have to come together and just play as one.
Do you know before a big game, DK, like Dallas, they couldn't cover you. Did you know going in you were going to have a big game? Or sometimes is it just it develops over the course of a game? Or did you see on film, because they have good corners, Did you feel like Dallas is in trouble against me?
Well, I always feel like that, against any team that we play. But, football is a team sport. So, you got to be able to block, run, catch, and, throw the ball. And then on the flip side of it, you got to stop the opposing team from covering and scoring touchdowns as well. So, no, you never know going into a game, how things are going to shake out. It's just, how the game plays out and how the game plan plays out. And, if something's working, you stick with it, and then if it's not, then you got to, learn how to pivot or, change on the fly. But no, going into a game, I don't think you ever know.
Niners are the most, I think they're the most talented team in the league. They are not great at corner. They're good. That's probably how they're viewed, as their secondary is not their strength. When you look at their overall personnel, what do you see with the Niners defense, DK?
Well, their front seven is great. Starting with Fred Warner, then, Bosa, then they added Chase Young, Armstead. They got a whole laundry list of pass rushers. And then, my prayers go out to Funga, who was a great player.
Yeah.
Loved going against him as safety. He was definitely, a problem on their defense as well. But, they have pretty good players in their secondary. Chadarius Ward is very good.
Yeah.
Ward is good. They got a savvy vet at safety and then a rookie at strong safety. So, they have all the right pieces in the right place in order to be successful now, in my opinion.
Listen, you're a little like LeBron, that you have the body that you're going to be able to play for a long, long, long time. In fact, you've only missed one game in your career. And it's interesting, DK, because we're getting to the point in the season. The weather's cold. Teams are missing. Nobody feels good now. And I watch you and I think, no, DCAF's fine. He's always good. But even for somebody of your size, when you get to this point in the season, do you feel it? Is it harder to get out there on Sunday? Is practice harder for you physically?
I would say the only thing that's hard is probably practice. I don't never have to hype myself up or get ready for a game because I'm always ready to play. But going back to your point, I would say Bobby and Russ and Dwayne Brown were 3 people who I looked up to when I first got in the league, and how they took care of their body and how they were always, doing prehab stuff, whether that was massages or a cold tub, hot tub. They were always taking care of their body. So that's one thing, I lean towards Bobby in that aspect. He's always working out. He's always getting massages, taking care of his body. So, that I look up to him, in a lot of ways. And that's just one way I try to, inherit the things that he does and, add it to my lifestyle.
DK Metcalf joining us. When you got to that team, you were very, very serious from day one. So you had a tough transition. You go from Ole Miss, Mississippi. You go all the way across country, SEC to Pete Carroll. And that's a lot. That's 3,000 miles. That's a big ask. And you were great right away. And you were very adult, very serious, very committed right away. It's hard in the transition. But now now it's different. Now you're a leader. And I'll see you talking to Geno Smith on the sidelines. During a game, if you talk to Geno, what's appropriate? Because you're all emotional, right? How demanding can you be, right, during a game? Be like, bro, I need the ball. What are those discussions like? Because you don't want to offend somebody, but you also need to make your point. What are those sideline discussions? Be as honest as you can about those if you're not happy.
I would say it just goes back to practice and, what we saw during the week or during film study. But anytime I go up to Geno, it's always just to encourage him. Or anytime you see me talking to Shane or the running backs or the O-line, I'm always just trying to check on them, making sure they're good. Because I learned last year I'm not the vocal leader, but I can lead by example, and I can, do my job by checking on people and making sure they're good. Because I'm always going to be good. And, if I can just give them some energy or some motivation to just go out there and just keep pushing through or just keep fighting or keep going, no matter what the adversity may be, then, I think that's my job. And it's just to make sure everybody's even keel and just make sure everybody's ready to go anytime we step out there on the field.
Once again, you lead the Seahawks in touchdowns with 6. You have over 800 yards. This was the team I grew up watching, the Seahawks. Pete Carroll took it over. It's been good since. He's a defensive coach. You're a star receiver. Does Pete spend a lot of time with the offense? I mean, he's obviously a very optimistic, chewing his gum 1,000 miles an hour. Like, there's not a lot of humans like Pete. What does Pete do for you? He's a defensive guy, but what's your relationship with Pete like?
I would say he's like a father figure in a way. He's never trying to tell me how to run a route, but he'll always add his 2 cents on what I should do on a release or how I should attack somebody. And he's always just checking on me, making sure I'm good. Like I said, like I do with other players, he does to me to make sure I'm good or make sure I'm always level-headed or even-keeled. And even when I was going through my little saga with the refs, he was always right there trying to sweet talk him with me or trying to help me through it. So he's always just been, the right person at the right time whenever I needed to talk to him. So just happy he's my coach and I got drafted here.
By the way, so you face the Niners. It's the biggest regular season game. Peyton Manning told me years ago, he said, rivalry games are different. He goes, there's preseason, there's regular season, and then there's like rivalry games. You tell me, when you're in the ice bath, when you're looking at film, when you're talking about the Niners, have these games felt different to you?
I mean, it's always different whenever we play the Niners, going back to my rookie year, when they flexed our game to Sunday night or the Monday night overtime victory we had with them. It's always been a nail biter whenever we played them, or it's always been a physical game. So just looking forward to another physical game. And, whoever wins is going to be very happy, I would say, Sunday night.
DK Metcalf, Seahawks receiver, great the minute he walked in this league. By the way, I saw the American Sign Language. My dad was actually an optometrist, and when we were young, there were all these books about sign language in the house. I remember that. For people that haven't heard this story, can you give us an update on that and your journey through this and how long you've been learning that?
Yes, sir. So I took one semester of sign language when I was in college as a summer course. My ASL teacher, Ms. Bryant, shout out to her. She made the class very enjoyable. So this year I will always try to work on something or try to take a class outside of football just to keep my mind going. So this year I'm doing ASL and I'm learning how to play the guitar. So I just took up ASL since week 1. My ASL teacher now, Daryl Utley, who's in Tennessee, shout out to him. He's been great. Got another lesson at 1:30 here today. So, it's just been fun. Just learning a new language and just trying to, always challenge myself to do something different.
You're a good dude. I love that journey through life. Next time you're on, like Tua on the Manning cast, we're going to ask you to bring a guitar and have some tunes for us next year at this time. Good luck Sunday, DK. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.